Well, let's start with some national news first. And the 22nd GST Council meeting will take place today, in which exporters are likely to be given some relief in terms of faster refunds and compliance. Now, the meet will also take up ways in which the GST network's functioning can be improved upon. Small and medium enterprises are also likely to get some relief in filing GST returns. The Rashtriya Swayam Sevak Sangh will today convene a special meeting of the economists and financial planners to put together a white paper on corrective measures which the government could possibly adopt in tackling the economic crisis. Now, the RSS meet comes as the economic growth is at a 3-year low and the opposition is trying to corner the government over the collapsing economy. Now, the findings and the recommendations of the meeting will be presented to Prime Minister Narendra Modi's office for implementation. Now, under fire from the BJP for his criticism of the Modi government's stewardship of the economy, senior leader Yashwant Sinha has dared the party to take action against him and has said that he simply did not care. Now, Sinha was answering a query about the BJP initiating disciplinary action against him after he released a book titled Tidings of the Troubled Times by Congress leaders Manish Tiwari. Now, in the wake of the deposed ADMK leader VK Sasikala applying for parole, the Karnataka Prisons Department will soon be writing to the Tamil Nadu police to check on the health condition of her husband M. Natarajan. Now, Sasikala, who is currently serving her sentence in a Bengaluru prison after her conviction in the disproportionate assets case, had applied for a 15-day parole to meet her ailing husband, who reportedly has undergone a surgery for organ transplant at the Gleneagles Global Hospital in Chennai. The mystery has shrouded Sasikala's husband M. Natarajan's liver and kidney transplant. Some reports have suggested that instead of being treated, the organ donor was airlifted, during which he became brain dead. The donor's family has maintained that they simply didn't know about the organ recipient and wanted to donate his organs. However, hospital has released a statement stating that the donor's family had agreed to donate his vital organs and all procedures were followed. The Election Commission will hear the case of ADMK's two leaves symbol today. The poll panel will hear all the factions before announcing its decision. Till the 21st of August, there were 4 claimants to the two leaves symbol of Tamil Nadu's ruling party. However, with the merger of the OPS and the EPS factions, the number of claimants has been reduced to 3. Now, after being sent to 6 days in police custody by the Panchkula court, HONEYPREET'S is reportedly refusing to cooperate with the investigators. The Panchkula Police Commissioner A.S. Chawla has said that if her reluctant attitude persists, then they may in fact have to seek the extension of her police custody. "85 days after he was released on bail in the Malayalam actress abduction and assault case, actor DILEEP is fast gaining his fans back. Now, those who stood by him before his arrest are now coming out in support of him. Now, he has reportedly declined the post of president of the Film Exhibitors United Organisation of Kerala after being re-elected. The former Railways Minister and RJD Supremo LALU Yadav was questioned for 7 hours by the CBI in connection with the alleged corruption in the award of contracts for the maintenance of 2 IRCTC hotels in 2006. Now, during the 7-hour-long questioning session, the team also asked LALU mostly about the award of the contract, land deals of the company now owned by his son. The BMC on Thursday demolished a 2,000 square feet canteen of Bollywood actor Shah Rukh Khan's production house Red Chillies in Mumbai's suburban Goregaon. The demolition action was conducted on the 4th floor, where a canteen reportedly was illegally constructed for the employees of the Red Chillies production house, which is situated in the DLH Max building in Goregaon West. The President Donald Trump is expected to announce soon that he will decertify the landmark international deal to curb Iran's nuclear program. This is a step that could potentially cause the 2015 accord to completely unravel. Trump has called the pact as an embarrassment and the worst deal that was ever been negotiated by the US, and has been weighing whether it serves US security interests as he faces an October 15 deadline to certify that Iran is complying with its terms. The British Royal Air Force's Red Arrows aerobatic team performed in an air show in Pakistan's port city of Karachi on Thursday. Now, this is to mark 70 years of friendship between Britain and Pakistan. And Pakistan's JF-17 Thunderfighter aircraft also participated in the air show, which was open for the public. The President Vladimir Putin hosted Saudi Arabia's King Salman for talks at the Kremlin on Thursday. The talks cement a relationship that is crucial for determining the world oil prices and could be pivotal for resolving conflicts in the Middle East. Now, King Salman is the first sitting Saudi monarch to visit Russia. He's led a delegation to Moscow that has agreed for a joint investment deal that's worth several billion US dollars, providing much needed investment for a Russian economy that is battered by low oil prices and Western sanctions. Niger president is condemned on Thursday an attack on the country's border which killed at least one Nigerian soldier and 3 US Army Special Force members. The attack, which also wounded 2 US soldiers, took place on Wednesday, and this during a routine patrol in a part of southwestern Niger where insurgents are said to be active. Spain's Constitutional Court on Thursday has ordered the suspension of Monday's session of the regional Catalan Parliament, throwing its plans to declare independence from Spain into doubt. Now, in an immediate fallout of the Catalonian crisis, 2 of Spain's biggest banks, Sabadell and CaixaBank, are considering moving their headquarters out of Catalonia. Now, this is a sign that the wealthy region's push for independence from Spain could actually scare away big businesses from Catalonia. The protesters gathered outside the military barracks near Barcelona on Thursday, this to show support for Spanish National Police brought in as reinforcement in a sign that the Spanish National Police had sent to Catalonia might have an extended stay. An army logistics unit sent bunk bed, kitchens and also showers to army barracks. Some police staying at the hotels in Catalonia have come under pressure from local residents to leave. French Prime Minister Edouard Philippe has met with his Tunisian counterpart Youssef Chahed on Thursday to discuss a number of issues, this including the recent knife attack in Marseille, in which 2 women were stabbed to death by a man carrying a Tunisian passport. The Chahed has said that there were no links between the attacker and terrorist groups whilst he was in Tunisia. The International Committee of the Red Cross has warned Syria, saying that the country is facing an increasing in fighting, with up to 10 hospitals reported to have been damaged in the past 10 days. Its warning comes as the United Nations also has said that Syria is in the face of its worst fighting since the battle for eastern Aleppo last year began. The heavy airstrikes have also caused hundreds of civilian casualties. Now, Iraqi forces have captured Islamic State's last stronghold in northern Iraq on Thursday, leaving the militant group holed up in pockets of land by the Syrian border. A video that's been released by the Iraqi police shows military vehicles patrolling the empty streets of Hawija and the Iraqi forces congregating outside the Hawija governor's office. Now, Saudi Arabia said on Thursday that it had dismantled an Islamic State cell in the capital Riyadh. Now, this in connection with a plot to launch a suicide attack on the defense ministry. The 2 militants were killed and 5 others arrested in raids on 3 locations on Wednesday. The 2 Russian submarines fired 10 caliber cruise missiles from the Mediterranean Sea at militant targets in Syria's Deir al-Zor province. This in an effort to support a Syrian army offensive. The ministry has also posted a video footage of missiles being launched at sea and air shots of targets being hit. The Argentine security officials on Thursday oversaw the process of destroying about 30,000 weapons that were seized during several operations around the country. Now, reports indicate that as many as 1,650 Rohingya families live in makeshift camp in no man's land in the Bandarban district near the Myanmar-Bangladesh border. About 509,000 Rohingyas have arrived in Bangladesh since the attacks by the Rohingya militants took place in August, leading to ethnic cleansing of the Rohingyas by the Myanmar army. The 4 toddlers and a teacher were killed in a childcare center fire in Brazil on Thursday, and reports also suggest that the fire had been deliberately lit by a sacked security guard. Witnesses reported the former security guard had doused children as young as 4 in petrol before setting himself alight. The strong winds swept across Germany on Thursday, killing at least 4 people and forcing the cancellation of trains in Berlin and the north. The German Weather Service has issued a severe weather warning for the country as Storm Xavier was expected to sweep across northern and central Germany. The trains on some routes between major cities have been cancelled, and fire departments have also issued a warning for people to stay indoors. Now, a German charity and rescue organization has prepared around 2,000 hot meals for stranded passengers at Hanover train station on Thursday night. This after heavy storms had forced the cancellation of train services across much of the north of the country. A state of emergency has been declared for the city of New Orleans as a tropical storm is expected to hit Louisiana shores on Sunday. The tropical storm Nate, which has unleashed intense rainfall across much of Central America on Thursday, had killed at least 3 people in Costa Rica. Nate is also expected to strengthen into a Category 1 hurricane by the time it strikes the United States Gulf Coast on Sunday. The dramatic footage from CCTV in Mexico City captures the moment that teachers, caretakers and doctors led kids outside buildings as the deadly 7.1 earthquake struck on the 19th of September. Now, the recently released footage shows cars violently moving, shaking trees, and even some toddlers struggling to walk to get to safe spaces. Now, a total of 369 people have died in the September 19 earthquake in Mexico. Now, thousands of people marched through the streets of Togo's capital for a second consecutive day of protest. This to demand President Faure Gnassingbe to step down. Protesters held up banners and signs reading "Togo liberation is now and 50 years is too long," as they call for constitutional reform and the reintroduction of a 2-term presidential limit. The more than 1,000 protesters staged a rally in central Tokyo on Thursday, this to express the disapproval of Prime Minister Shinzo Abe and his Liberal Democratic Party ahead of October 22nd national elections. Now, the protesters called against Tokyo Governor's new Party of Hope, which was launched just last week as an alternative to Abe's equally conservative LDP. A group of young Japanese volunteers have been roaming the streets of Tokyo collecting trash regularly for over a year, dressed only in a loincloth and sometimes with an extra traditional happy coat when the weather turns cold. This drive inspires others to keep the city clean but also to re-evaluate the traditional Japanese loincloth. The firefighters have battled forest fires in central Argentina province of San Luis on Thursday. Reports also indicate that furious flames in some areas had reached 30 meters high. The 3 fire spots are investigating to see if arsonists are to be blamed for this, and the fires have intensified by strong winds combined with unusually hot and dry weather conditions. A new aircraft launched by Novospace has a very special mission. Now it allows its passengers to experience zero gravity. This is the next best thing to being in the International Space Station. Now passengers of the zero gravity plane can experience zero gravity for over 20 seconds at a time when the plane leaps through the sky. This plane can now help scientists experience zero gravity conditions without having to go into space. The Cuban birthplace of the world-famous daiquiri celebrated 200 years of business on Thursday. This with aficionados from around the world toasting the famous drink in Havana. The daiquiri is made of rum, lime, sugar and shaved ice and was created in 1918. Now, comic book fans flocked to New York's Javits Center on Thursday on the first day of the 2017 New York Comic Con. This year, organizers expect as many as 200,000 visitors to geek out during its 4-day run. The NASA astronauts kicked off a series of 3 spacewalks on Thursday to perform maintenance on the International Space Station. The first excursion got underway with Mark Van de Haye and Randy Bresnik working to replace one of the 2 latching end effectors on the station's robotic arm. Well, to some sports news now. The FIFA Under-17 World Cup 2017 kicks off in India today with 4 group stage matches spread between New Delhi and Mumbai on the opening day. Now, the Under-17 World Cup 2017 is the first ever global football tournament to be hosted by India, and the boys in blue will become the first Indian team to participate in a FIFA event when they open their campaign with a clash against the United States in the national capital. Now, the Syrian national team played out a 1-1 draw in their first leg of their 2-legged Asian playoff for FIFA World Cup 2018 qualifiers. Playing at their makeshift home venue of Malacca in Malaysia, Syria scored a late equalizer with Omar Al-Somah netting a 85th minute penalty as the war-ravaged country kept up its hopes of reaching a historic maiden football World Cup alive.